This is the study of geography, and these are the branches of geography: physical geography, human geography, and practical geography. These are among the few topics that we'll look at when we study geography. We look at industrialization, we look at forestry, we look at tea plantations, maize plantations, brick making industry, among many others. Welcome to Geography Form 1, Lesson 5.
Welcome to our lesson. I'm Sarah, and today we are going to look into the shape of the earth. Previously, we saw where the earth was formed from. We saw that it was formed together with the other heavenly bodies, and therefore today we want to take more interest on the shape of this earth. So previously also we know that the earth was believed to be flat. It was believed to be just flat, running from one end to the other. That if somebody started walking from east and he could not come back to the same point, he could go and maybe drop at the farthest point where there is west. So they never knew that it was like a ball. It was believed to be flat. But with the time, they discovered that the earth is round. It is circular in shape. That is the nature of the earth. And the dry land and the plants and any other feature that is found is just mounted on the outside part. And so this ball, as it goes round and round, these objects are just stuck, plus and including the human beings. We are stuck to the earth as it is moving round. We are not found inside, we are found on the outside. And so this shape of the earth is very special. It is a special round shape, and because of its unique shape, unique looking, it is referred to as an oblate spheroid. The earth is a spheroid, it's a sphere. It is oval. It's not purely round like a ball, no. It is spherical. And the sphere that the earth is so special that it is called an oblate spheroid. It is also given another name that we call a geoid, because the oval shape of the earth is flat at the poles and it is slightly bulged at its center, where we have the equator, or what we call the equator. It is bulged at the center and it is flat at the North Pole and at the South Pole. Just as we can be able to see at our screen here. What we have here is that the earth is round. It is not flat, it is round like a ball. And at the top is slightly flat, just like at the bottom. And then at the center here, the circumference at the center is much larger than the circumference at the poles. And because of that, then we call it an oblate spheroid, as I've said, or a geoid, Now, this shape has got some causes. It is believed, the scientists believe, that this shape has been caused. It could have been maybe a triangle, or it could have been a square, but there are some reasons. There are some forces which have led the earth to have the shape that it has. And these forces include the centrifugal force. Centrifugal force is responsible for the bulging of the earth's equator, for the earth's center. It's bulged at the center because of the centrifugal force. And this force works like when the earth is rotating, the circumference at the equator is so large much more than it is at the poles. So when the Earth is rotating on its own axis, the speed at which it is rotating at the equator is much more faster than the speed at the poles. So this kind of a thing, because of that flinging force, it opens off, just like when children are having a merry-go-round. You would see when the merry-go-round starts to move out, the balls at the center, they open outwards. So the Earth also opens outwards, because it is like it is rotating, and both at the North Pole and the South Pole, the speed is much slower than at the equator. And so it causes the center to bulge outside, and that is the force that we call the centrifugal force. The other force that causes the Earth to become round, to give it the shape it has, because we have said it's a very special spheroid, which is flat at the poles and bulged at the center, and yet it is round. Another force is the centripetal force. This centripetal force is the force that is caused by the North Pole and the South Pole. These two poles are opposite each other, and so the South Pole tends to pull the North Pole towards it, as much as the North Pole is also attracting the South Pole towards it. So when they are pulling like that, the South is pulling the North and the North is pulling the South, that causes the flattening of the poles, causes the poles to be flat, and that is what we call the centripetal force. And the centrifugal force is causing the center to bulge. The gravitational force is so powerful at the center of the Earth, and it is pulling everything to the center of the Earth, making all parts of the Earth to be pulled inwards, and that gives the round shape. So the Earth is round, yes, it's bulged at the center, and it is flat at the poles. That is the shape, and we have said it's an oblate, spheroid, or a geoid. Now, because there was this kind of misunderstanding that the Earth was round, that the Earth was flat, and later we found people came up and said no, the Earth is round. So there was need for the scientists to give the proofs, and the proofs are as follows. We have quite a good number. Our number one is the one that we call circumnavigation. This one is a proof that explains that if you took off from one point and you are in an aircraft, a low flying aircraft, and you move towards one direction in a straight line to the east or to the west, and you move in a straight line, a low flying aircraft, so that you don't lose direction, and you move in a straight line either to the west and you just go to your west, you will find yourself approaching the same spot where you started from the opposite direction. So if you went to the west, you will find yourself approaching that point from east. If you went to the east, you will find yourself there coming from the west. And so therefore, this object, this planet, is round. If it was a square, maybe no, it could not happen like that. So that is one point that we have. We are not talking about moving in a water vessel, because we will be blocked by land masses as you are moving on water. Because if you are moving from the Atlantic Ocean and you are entering, you want to move into the Indian Ocean, you will be blocked by, for example, the African continent. Circumnavigation, we don't use water vessels, we use aircrafts to prove that the Earth is spherical. So that's point number one. Our point number two is about an approaching ship at the coast. If you are on a raised ground, just a cliff, yes, a raised ground, and you are looking towards the sea, and you really open up your eyes and you see far, you will see a ship coming from very far, but you don't see the whole ship, you will just see smoke. And you know it is water. You can even wonder, now who is lighting fire in the ocean? Or maybe there is a volcanic eruption in the ocean, you will wonder. But after some time, then you come to see the top part of the ship, and later you come to see the whole ship. If the land was flat, you could be able to see the whole sea vessel approaching at once. But now you have seen the smoke, then later you see the mast, and then later you come to see the whole ship. You see, now that is a proof, because it is like the ship is climbing up from behind the circle, the circular earth. Yes. Then number 3, we have another proof is during the lunar eclipse, the earth is at the center. And so the earth will cast its shadow on the moon. Now during this phenomena, when we have the lunar eclipse, the shape of the earth is witnessed to be circular. It is oval. It is round. It casts a round shadow is seen on the moon. Therefore, that is evident enough. It is evidence enough that the earth is spherical, because it is only spherical objects that give spherical shadows. You cannot expect a cow to give a shadow which is round. No, you will see a shadow that looks like the real object. Yes. So we are talking about the circular shadow that is casted on the moon reveals to us that our earth is round and not flat. So we disqualify that original and ancient thought that the earth was flat. It is not flat. Another evidence is that if you go and you climb on a very high ground, just on the earth's surface here, wherever you are, go and climb on the raised ground. Just if you have a hill at your place. Yes, if you have a mountain, yeah, if you have a ridge, just a raised ground. Don't go down to the valley. Go to the top of the hill. What you will see, and you look round, you look to the ends of the earth. At the ends, you will not, you will be able to see that it is neatly curved round like that. If it was a triangle, you could be able to see the 3 horns of this object. You see? If it was a rectangle, you could see the 4 corners. But now you just see neatness, neat carving at the corners. Everywhere round. That is proof enough, my friend, that the earth is round. Another proof is that the earth is in space. And we have satellites. We have human-made satellites from where photographs can be taken. So when we take photographs, when photographs are taken far away from the earth, from space, where the satellites are positioned, all those photographs show that the earth is round. The earth is spherical. The earth is just one of the planets. There are other members of the same class. So these planets, we said planets must be big enough in size, of reasonable size. It should be circular in shape, that is spherical, and it should have its own orbit, clear its own orbit. And so the earth meets all those qualifications of being a planet. It meets all those qualifications. The earth is big in size. The earth is also spherical. We have just said that it is an oblate spheroid, having flat tops, a bulged center, and roundish in shape. And now, and therefore, just like the other planets, and therefore it is also spheroid, because all the other planets, when they are viewed from telescopes, when they are taken photographs from space, they all appear spherical. And the Earth is just a member. And so we are satisfied that for real our Earth is spherical, and that is what we have been able to look at in what we call the shape of the Earth.
We're very grateful that you found time to watch our content. Kindly press the subscribe button down there and leave a like if the content was helpful to you. Join us in the next lessons. Thank you.